So guys, I'm back. Second video talking about why I cry whenever I'm in church. And let me just be clear. It's not even I used to often cry when in the spiritual setting. When I was going to the mosque sometimes, even as a non-Muslim, I was always open to God. So I would go to mosque with a friend or a family member. Very rarely with a family member, but you know, on occasion with a cousin or something. But it was mostly with a friend because they were going and I would like to worship with them, even though I was not truly established in the belief or the religion, because as a lot of you know, I've left that at the age at a very young age, let's just say. Um, a lot of the times I found myself contemplating, meditating on the divine, on the creator, and I would just fall on my knees and start to cry. From when I was a young teenager, and when I would tell this to my friends at the time, they would always say, "Oh, Allah is calling you back. The God of Islam is calling you back." But that never sat well with me because I was not feeling that it was the same God that they knew who was calling me back. But it was the God of love. There's only one God, right? Well, anyway, that's a whole other topic. I don't want to get into it, but yeah. I felt it was different, let's just say. So, let's just say I was always very sensitive and receptive to being touched by the transcendental through music, through beauty, through overwhelming love, through something that touches you beyond your thoughts and emotions. Even though crying is often seen as being emotional, it is not always the case. Coming to tears is also happens when you have no other means of expression. You want to express something so deeply, but you have no way to utter it. You have no way to describe it. You have no way to formulate it. It just happens. And it's such a powerful experience. People think, oh, he's crying because he's afraid, or because he's sad, or because, because that's what people usually know. Most people actually have never cried out of love, have never cried out of bliss, joy, happiness. It's sad. Most people know only tears of sorrow and fear. They don't know, most people don't know the tears of bliss. Tears of bliss is not being emotional. It is a transcendental experience. So, and that happened to me many times, but from the time, so let me continue the story of earlier, when I had that calling to go to church mass, to attend church mass, and I was like, because it was a thought that was not mine again, coming in, because I got used to it. This may sound really crazy for a lot of you, but that's just, hey, that's just my life and my experience. And you know, I'm not obliging anyone to believe it or whatever. I'm just speaking my own experience, which I have verified many, many times, and I know that something is out there, and it's not mine. It's, you know, it's not coming from me. And go to church mass, go to church mass. And I was like, what? Are you serious? Why would I go to church? Why would I go to church? I'm not Christian. I'm not thinking of becoming Christian. I have no relation to the church, or in fact I'm even against religion. What are you talking about? Go to church. And the voice just continued, just go to church. It just ignored everything I was saying. Just go to church. Just stop thinking all these thoughts. Just go to church. Don't worry about all of that. Just go to church. I tried to ignore that thought for three weeks, almost. Actually, I wanted to go before, but I couldn't. But I kind of like, come on, just whatever. I was like postponing it, but it continued. Go to church. Go to church. Go to church. Next Sunday, go to church. Next Sunday, go to church. So after the third week, as the third Sunday is coming, I'm like, okay. I'm going to go to church. And I got dressed, took a shower, got dressed, tied my hair because I had long hair, wore elegant clothes, and I went to church mass. I looked it up before. When does church mass? Because I had no idea when was church mass, when it happened, what time, where. I mean, I knew certain churches, but I didn't know where it happened in English and French. So I ended up going to the cathedral, to the Grand Cathedral in Rabat. I get there a bit late, but I still go. People in the, no one asked me, hey, what are you doing here? Are you Christian? Are you not Christian? They're like, did you come for the church mass? And I'm like, yes. Okay, please enter. I go in, and I take a seat at the furthest front. And I just look at the architecture, at the colors, and I hear the singing, and I hear the words being preached, the words of love. The words of love, not only as love, but as God Himself. And all of a sudden my heart just explodes open. At that point, I did not know how much my heart was closed, how much my heart was hardened. I've always been an open-hearted person. But until that point, I did not realize how much my heart has been damaged and closed off to feeling these things. And just being there just burst it open completely. And as it opened, my shirt was drenched in my tears. It was completely drenched. My mouth did this, as if it's trying to utter something, but nothing comes out. My hands try to reach out to something, but I don't know what. only to grab emptiness. And at that moment, I feel immense love. A love that I've never felt before. That I did feel before in glimpses here and there. But that day, it just flooded me. And it was calling me, my son, you're home. I love you. You're safe. You're okay. I'm with you now. And I just couldn't stop crying. No matter how hard I would try to stop, I couldn't stop. And those tears just washed my soul. I felt I was being baptized in my own tears on that day. This was the first Sunday of August. I don't know if it was the 3rd of August or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But it was the first Sunday of August. The very first days of August. And that morning, I was supposed to join my family, father and brother and his wife's family, and my father's wife and my little brother for lunch. So I rush there after church mass. And I tell them, because I was a little bit late, I tell my father and my brother, sorry guys. And then I was like, I was actually at church. They didn't know what to think about it, of course. I did not know what to think about it. My brother jokingly said, may God hear your prayers, in Arabic. Like taqabbal. We just laughed about it. I did not stop going to church ever since the beginning of August 2024. And every time I set foot in church, I become the softest, the most tender-hearted, that any little thing would make me cry. Why do I cry in church? I cry because I am finally with the Father. I'm finally with the Son. I'm finally with love, the love that holds everything in the universe. I cry because of those who are suffering in the world. I cry for every soul who still suffers the way I was suffering, lost in the dark, walking around, not wanting to give a chance to what may save them, which is just in reach. It's so close, yet so far. I cry for all of that. I cry for the suffering I've been through sometimes. I cry for that boy that I once knew who I was, who went through all those sufferings. But I cry for everyone. And I cry because the bliss is overwhelming. That now I'm with God. Now God is with me. Now He found me. I did not find Him, He found me. And He saved me. He saved me from losing my mind. He saved me from a life of sin. And He took me into His arms and sheltered me from harm. And I haven't stopped crying ever since.